The controversy surrounding Sound of Freedom is still raging, and fans are now speculating that the reason Hollywood is apparently trying to blacklist this movie is connected to something Mark Wahlberg recently revealed about Hollywood and its rumored anti-Christian agenda. In a recent interview, Mark revealed that he faced backlash for discussing his faith because the entertainment industry wants to portray religion, specifically Christianity, in a negative light. But I do not deny my faith. That's an even bigger sin, you know. It's not popular in my industry, but you know I cannot deny my faith. And since mainstream media has labeled Sound of Freedom as a faith-based movie, fans believe this is why Mark Wahlberg decided to speak out on Hollywood having an agenda against religion. However, critics of Sound of Freedom are now accusing Mark of doing paid promotions for the conservative side, and they're still claiming that Sound of Freedom is a conspiracy theory. So what did Mark say about Hollywood being anti-Christian? And is this why they're ignoring Sound of Freedom? Let's break it down. And I was away from people and church and community in connection for a long time. It's been less than a month since Sound of Freedom was released, and it's already turned into an incredible box office success, with Angel Studios projecting that the movie will reach $150 million in the U.S. box office. In case you missed it, the film Sound of Freedom is based on a true story and was inspired by the efforts of retired Special Agent Tim Ballard, the founder of Operation Underground Railroad. This problem is far greater than anyone could possibly imagine. I was shocked year after year how deep it went, how big it was. This is children. There are children who are enslaved. It's the fastest growing criminal enterprise on the planet. There's up to 6 million children we believe in slavery, according to the Department of Labor, U.S. State Department. And 2 million of those are its commercial in Sound of Freedom. Jim Caviezel, well known for his performance in Mel Gibson's 2004 epic, The Passion of the Christ, plays Tim Ballard. Ballard actually personally requested caviezel for this role, and Caviezel has stated that he considers Sound of Freedom the second most important film in his career, after Passion. Interestingly, prior to being approached for this role, Caviezel hadn't heard of Operation Underground Railroad. However, he was deeply moved by the script due to his role as a father and the fact that he and his wife Carrie saved children through adoption. Jim and Carrie adopted 3 Chinese children who had major health issues, and this personal experience resonated with Jim. When he read the script for Sound of Freedom, people would ask me in my industry, what about unwanted children? I said I have 3 of them and I want them. And so I read this script, and here are these unwanted children. And it broke my heart. And this story was really compelling. And it just, to me, it's the second most important film I've done since The Passion. However, since, much like Mark Wahlberg is very outspoken talking about his faith, the mainstream media has dismissed him as a conspiracist and slammed Sound of Freedom for pandering to conservative Christian audiences. The magazine Rolling Stone recently published an article identifying Caviezel as a famous person on the conspiracy right and stating that he and Tim Ballard have dramatically inflated the prevalence of the horrible crimes depicted in Sound of Freedom. Rolling Stone also claimed that the recent Sound of Freedom almost never saw the light of day because it's nonsense and no studio wanted to waste money on it. However, there are many people out there who believe Hollywood studios didn't want to release this movie because they have people in their own ranks who are afraid of being exposed for the same crimes shown in Sound of Freedom. According to Screen Rant, the filmmakers struck a distribution deal with 20th Century Fox. But in 2019, Disney acquired Fox, which resulted in Sound of Freedom being shelved. And it took years for the filmmakers to regain the distribution rights from Disney, which is why some fans are now claiming that Hollywood has an anti-Christian agenda. Because Jim Caviezel is not the only celeb who claims he was blacklisted for talking about his faith, as you may recall. Kanye West also alleged that artists are forced to sign contracts that prohibit them from mentioning Jesus. Music, the musicians, the designers, the cuisine is all about the Hollywood, what was all out to New York chasing those monuments, literally standing a contractor selling our souls. They have contracts that say you can't say Jesus. In fact, Kanye said in his track Jesus Walks in 2004 that you can rap about anything except Jesus. Like we're in competition right now because they're trying to normalize the devil, and Populate the Devil is on the main stage at award shows, and in every video, and yeah, man, signs and symbols. And I said, you know what we need to stop treating our relationship with Jesus like the little buddy that you talk to before you go to bed at night, and not be more vocal about all that God means to us and all that God has brought us through. Oh yeah, going down in the basement, this secret world, nah, they on the device too. Yeah, I do want to come back, and I want to talk to you about a Fast 10. As well, yeah, alrighty, there's this movie that I wanted to talk to you about. I think you know about it. And this brings us to Mark Wahlberg, who recently made waves on the internet when he appeared on the Today Show with the Ash Wednesday cross on his forehead and insinuated that Hollywood, I don't want to force it down anyone's throat, but I also don't deny my faith, which is an even greater sin. I know it's not popular in my industry, but I can't deny my faith. It's important for me to share it with people, but I also have friends from all walks of life and from all different faiths and religions, so it's important to respect and honor them as well. Mark is a music believer after allegedly experiencing something similar to what the filmmakers of Sound of Freedom faced while attempting to get the film off the shelf in 2022. After the big studios apparently declined to sponsor and support the religious play Father Stu, Mark himself invested millions of dollars in its production. Father Stu depicts the real-life journey of Stuart Long, an aspiring boxer who overcomes injuries and health challenges to eventually fulfill his calling as a priest. Mark later told Insider, "I slipped the script to a couple of people that I thought might get it, and they didn't," alluding to Hollywood's apparent bias against Christian-based projects. In the same interview, Mark stated Mark also mentioned that Mel Gibson motivated him to pursue this idea because he witnessed how Gibson struggled to develop the Passion of the Christ despite all of the popular reaction. Many of them believe that Hollywood has an anti-Christian agenda, and they have pointed out how demonic iconography is now dominant in the music industry, and it almost appears that singers are compelled to mock Christianity in order to advance to the next level of fame. Beyoncé and Madonna are examples of major music artists. Samuel Smith Travis Scott is a musician. Lil Uzi, Playboi Carti, and others have been accused of encouraging Neo and using satanic imagery in their shows. Playboi Carti just delivered a full-fledged demon-possessed performance at the Rolling Loud Music Festival, toasting the audience with the devil. Warren gave a hand salute while an upside-down cross appeared on his screen in the background. The upside-down cross is a sign of God's rejection of Jesus, the Son of God. Playboi Carti recently revealed that he had the word Satan tattooed on the back of his neck, which is exactly what Tyrese Gibson meant when he said this type of stuff is now being done openly. As for Mark Wahlberg, this is apparently the main reason he recently decided to relocate his family from Hollywood to Nevada, which he said he had to do in order to give his 4 children a chance to thrive during his appearance on The Talk last October. One Ben stated that I have the highest regard for Mark. Mel and Jim are also responsible for people such as Dave Chappelle. Denzel Washington is a well-known actor. Joe Rogan, Ashton Kutcher, Ice Cube, and Russell Brand are also exposing the dark side of the powers that be in their despicable actions, and hopefully more people will step forward. However, another person responded, saying, "Don't be fooled. This man will do anything to make $1. And if this is currently selling, then he'll do it. It's about the dollar sign, but what about you? Do you think Hollywood has an anti-Christian agenda and is